Behind every great brand is a story, and this one, it started with a young man, a vision, and the courage to chase both excellence and influence. Hi Muhammad, it's good to have you on the podcast.
Hi.
So tell us, what role has networking played in your journey as both an entrepreneur and a student leader?
The more people you meet, the more you learn.
How have you been able to balance leadership, academics, and business?
I don't subscribe to multitasking. Every instant in time, I kind of focus on just one thing.
Do you have any advice for entrepreneurs?
Focus on building to last.
What are the key elements that make a fashion brand truly memorable?
Consistency in product design,
Okay.
quality, and having a clear brand message.
Tell us, what common branding mistakes do fashion startups make and how can they avoid them?
Not having a very clear identity. Do what you know, or start from what you know.
Campus Hustlers with Fatima, Zakariyya.
Behind every great brand is a story, and this one, it started with a young man, a vision, and the courage to chase both excellence and influence. Hi, welcome to yet another interesting episode of Campus Hustlers, your weekly dose of entrepreneurial spirit unfiltered. I'm your host, Fatima Zakariyya. I am an entrepreneur, a corporate event anchor, a voiceover artist, and of course, I am a podcaster. Joining me on today's episode of Campus Hustlers is Onimode Muhammad Tahir, a 400-level Mechatronics Engineering student at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, who's not just solving equations but also solving real-world problems through fashion and leadership. Muhammad is the founder and the creative director of Capitan, a fast-rising male fashion brand that fuses traditional African aesthetics with contemporary urban culture, attracting customers both within and outside Nigeria. Beyond entrepreneurship, Tahir wears another hat as the business director of NUESA at ABU Zaria. In this role, he champions student-focused initiatives like webinars, trade fairs, and networking events that empower young entrepreneurs to thrive on campus and beyond. He is also a passionate advocate for personal growth. Through his content, Tahir shares productivity tips and etiquette insights tailored to young Muslim men, proving that success isn't just about hustle, but also about discipline, knowledge, and intention. In this episode, we are going to explore his journey, the values that drive him, and how he's inspiring other students to take charge of their growth, build sustainable brands, and position themselves for lasting success. Hi, Muhammad. It's good to have you on the podcast.
Hi, good day.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
All right, Muhammad, let's start this way. Can you share a bit about your background and what inspired you to start Capitan?
Growing up in Abuja, I was surrounded by people that dress really well, and that inspired me to not only also look up to them by also dressing well, but also inspired me to want to make them look good and dress well as well. So I started by learning how to sew clothes and make clothes.
Okay.
But then that was around 2019. Then in 2022, it became an actual business.
Okay.
I registered a name and I started building the business structure. So me coming into the business world is more of a transition from doing something I like as a hobby to making money out of it by making it a business. So I would say it's been fun and challenging, but then I've been consistent and I've been surrounded by people around me who encourage me to always go for what I want. Which I feel like it's a very key thing. Just have a very good encouraging circle around you.
Interesting, Muhammad. All right, Muhammad, how did you come up with the name Capitan and what does it represent? Because to me, it sounds like a luxurious name. It sounds so special. It sounds so unique.
Okay, so yeah, you're right. Capitan can present luxury and everything that you mentioned.
Okay.
But then I kind of see the word Capitan as more something that is resilient.
Okay.
Actually, the name of the brand was coined from a word I had long time ago before I even came into the idea of having a business.
Okay.
I've always loved that word for a very long while. So it was time for me to like start a business and register. I needed a business name. I brainstormed with my friends and my siblings for a name. I already had this name as an option. But then all the suggestions that people were bringing, this name was still was still in my mind. So then I was like, oh, I can't just use this name because I had it somewhere. So I had to give it a name.
Yes.
So I'm based in Abuja. The business is based in Abuja. And Abuja is the capital of Nigeria.
Yeah.
So I gave it a meaning, and the meaning is like a combination of 3 different words.
Okay.
The 3 words are the capital, Capitan.
Okay.
So now the L there is just basically the Spanish word for D.
Okay.
The capi there is from the word capital.
Yes.
Then the tan is from Capitan. So basically it's just like saying the Capitan brand of the capital city of Nigeria.
Beautiful. This is interesting. This is super interesting, Muhammad. Okay, so now Muhammad, tell us, what role has networking played in your journey as both an entrepreneur and a student leader?
For me, I would say I see networking as building personal connections with people rather than exchanging contacts.
Okay.
When you meet new people, you let them know what you have to offer them than to like seek for what they have to offer you. I feel like when you approach networking in that way, it makes the connection stronger and there's something for the both of you to build on. I would say networking has played a very vital role in my journey, connecting me with so many nice people, both in aspect of business and the aspect of leadership. I've met people that I've learned from, mentors, friends, colleagues, and I would say overall it's a very essential part for growth. The more people you meet, the more you learn.
Interesting. And that brings me to my next question, Muhammad. As the business director of NUESA, how have you been able to balance leadership, academics, and business? How?
For me, balancing all the 3 comes down to time management and prioritization. I don't subscribe to multitasking. For me, multitasking stresses you out. Divides your focus, makes your results lack excellence.
Okay.
So for me, at every point in time, I focus on what needs immediate attention.
Okay.
In a day, I might actually dedicate different part of my day to at least academics, business, and leadership, depending on what is required for me in that day. But I know that at every point in time, I'm doing just one. So I have full attention in what I'm doing. My results are excellent. And I feel like the 3 roles complement each other in terms of skill development and the opportunities they bring. So balancing them kind of feels simple, but it's not really simple. It requires conscious efforts to do.
Beautiful. If I get what you're trying to say, Muhammad, you're saying that you don't subscribe to multitasking, which I would have assumed that you are a multitasker for you to be handling academics, leadership, and your business. But if I get you correctly, you're saying that if it's business, it is business. It's not that at once you are reading, at the same time you are responding to clients, at the same time you are planning a meeting. You don't do that. You take it one at a time.
So basically, in the grand context, I'm a multitasker because I do different things. But then at every instant in time, I kind of focus on just one thing.
Beautiful. And this is one thing I think I should also learn from you. Thank you so much for this, Muhammad. Okay, so Muhammad, tell us, what are some of the lessons entrepreneurship has taught you so far?
Entrepreneurship has taught me the importance of resilience, adaptability, and courage. Courage in the sense of you not being afraid to fail. So it also helps you to understand your strengths and build on them while continuously learning and improving. The journey is actually never easy, but it's rewarding when you stay consistent, because every day you come across different experiences, and these different experiences build up to the kind of person you are, even beyond entrepreneurship itself. It broadens your insights and develops you as a person.
Beautiful. And resilience, adaptability, and courage. All right, Muhammad, how do you stay motivated and consistent in all your ventures? Because you made mention of consistency.
Consistency is key, but I also remind myself that every step I take, no matter how small, is a progress. And I also find motivation, like I mentioned earlier, in the support I get from people around me and their encouragement.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so Muhammad, tell us, success story. What has been your greatest achievements, leadership-wise, academic-wise, business-wise, particularly business-wise? What has been your greatest achievement so far? Like your biggest success story?
To be very honest, for me, I will say every day is a success story. Because in my opinion, every growth and improvement you make is actually a success. So any result you see now might not actually be because of the work you put in now. It might be because of the works you've been putting in from years back, but then now the accumulated effort is the result you are seeing now. So personally, I acknowledge every little progress I make.
You acknowledge every little progress you make, and that is something that you also put into consideration. I need to be acknowledging any little progress I make. Interesting. Okay, so now Muhammad, future vision as a mechatronics engineer. Is it that you want to practice after leaving Ahmadu Bello University after graduation, or you feel like, oh, you want to take El Capitan to the next level, or you want to do both?
To be very honest, I would say I'm open to all the options you just mentioned.
Okay.
Presently now, the way I run my business, I kind of run it in such a way that it has a structure.
Okay.
So I feel like when with time, maybe before my graduation, I will have developed a very solid structure in such a way that I really don't need to be present for things to go on. So that way I can build myself as an engineer, take up job opportunities, and also further my education, because I will also love to do that. Even if I'm not getting my second degree in an engineering field, at least I just feel like I need to learn, because I feel learning is something that you always need to do.
Why do I feel like you love school more than your business?
I don't love school more than my business, but I actually love learning.
Okay.
Fashion is like a core part of my journey.
Okay.
But then I kind of have this idea of you can really do anything you want to do. You shouldn't limit yourself to somewhere. But then you should have something that is your main stuff. So for me, I feel like fashion is my main stuff, and I can have other things I do. So I should be known for the fashion, but then I should do other things I want to do for my own fulfillment.
Okay.
And I also kind of have this blueprint of being a businessman in the Nigerian context. Like, I also have plans of how to build on other business, go into other businesses, and develop the brand name El Capitan in other sectors.
Beautiful. Okay, so Muhammad, before we dive into the second segment of the podcast, do you have any advice for entrepreneurs, student entrepreneurs alike?
My advice would be, for every idea you have, start early, surround yourself with the right people. It helps you stay consistent. Then learn from your mistakes as you grow. And you can't really wait for everything to be perfect. Your ideas might not actually really matter, so you just have to take actions. When you take actions, you get your feedback, you improve. It's a long-term game, so just focus on building to last.
Focus on building to last, and that's my key takeaway. All right, Muhammad, it has really been an amazing time with you as far as the first segment of the podcast is concerned, but I know that a whole lot of people are listening to you right now, and they're like, who is this person? And they can't wait to connect with you. So tell us, where can listeners find you? Do you have social media presence?
I'm on social media, yes.
Okay, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, X at El Capitan _NG.
El Capitan. I love the consistency in your brand name. I love it. All right, so listeners, we're about to dive into the second segment of the podcast. Muhammad and I are going to be exploring the topic, building a fashion brand with a unique identity. A lot of people create clothes, but very few create identity. In this segment, we are going to be unraveling what makes a fashion brand truly unforgettable and how El Capitan is doing just that. All right, so Muhammad, are you ready for this segment?
Yes, I am.
All right. So in an industry as competitive as fashion, what does it really mean to build a unique brand identity?
In Nigeria, the fashion industry is a very competitive one.
Very, very.
There are billions of tailors out there.
You think, Muhammad, are they up to billions?
Okay.
Do you think they are up to billions? I know there are a lot more. Oh my God, are they up to billions?
In Nigeria, the fashion industry is a very competitive one. There are so many tailors out there.
Yeah.
So building a unique identity, I would say it's a very important way of setting yourself apart.
Yeah.
Understanding what you are and what you stand for. In what you stand for, you should look at offering something different from what others are doing. For El Capitan, we aim for perfection, but then we don't get the perfection. But then aiming high makes you achieve more.
Yeah.
And this perfection we aim for, it's not just in the products that we deliver. It's also in the service delivery. Service delivery in the sense that in the experience our customers get from us, from the day they place their order to the day they stop wearing our outfits. At every different stage in that journey, there's a way we want them to feel. that makes them connect with the brand.
Yeah. Alright, so Muhammad, what are the key elements that make a fashion brand truly memorable?
I would say consistency in product design,
Okay.
quality, and having a clear brand message.
Okay. Having a clear brand message.
Yeah, your brand should tell a story that resonates with your audience to create a lasting connection through the designs you put out, customer experience you present, and the value you represent as a brand.
Beautiful. Okay, so Muhammad, you made mention of storytelling. How important is storytelling in fashion branding, and how do you incorporate it into El Capitan?
Storytelling is vital.
Okay.
People connect with stories, not just your products. They connect with the story your brand tells through its customer service, the delivery, and even its online presence.
Okay.
So at El Capitan, we focus on creating content that entertain people to emotionally connect with our audience. So that way we are presenting ourselves as a fun brand. It's about creating an experience and making your audience smile anytime they engage with you.
Beautiful. Okay, Muhammad, I know that you cannot create content without social media. How have you leveraged digital platforms to grow El Capitan?
It helps us to showcase designs, tell our story, and engage directly with our customers.
Okay.
It has also helped us to build a community around the brand, which in turn will improve our sales, while also allowing you to get access to real-time feedback, because when you make a post, depending on how people interact with your post, you know if that design you put out is good or not. But to be honest, I am guilty that I haven't been utilizing social media effectively for El Capitan, although it's something that I have been improving on lately.
Beautiful. I'm glad that you are improving on it, and that is the most important thing. Okay, so we've been hearing branding. Muhammad, tell us, what common branding mistakes do fashion startup make, and how can they avoid them?
Common mistakes.
Yes, branding mistakes.
I'll say not having a very clear identity.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Not knowing what niche you want to focus on. There's no problem in having multiple niches, but then you should have a focus. You should have a primary product. Okay, for example, now you're a brand, you are producing streetwears, you are producing suits. Those two things are two different stories. They are for two different audiences. So you not having a clear identity now will make anybody coming to you not to have a clear understanding of what you have to offer to him. The general identity that we have at El Capitan is one of luxury, comfort, and uniqueness. Because having a brand identity does not necessarily mean you should just produce one product. At El Capitan, we also plan to diversify into other products too. But then you maintain the same consistency in the way you present your products, in the quality of your finishing, and the quality of the product itself, in such a way that if you have a person that is wearing El Capitan Capitan and a person that is wearing an El Capitan casual set standing beside each other, you just have this feeling that these two outfits have a connection together.
Wow, beautiful. I think I even have a better understanding of what you mean by having a clear brand identity. Thank you so much for that, Muhammad.
Another mistake that I've seen some startups make is overproduction, wrong pricing, and neglecting the marketing and business parts of their startup as a fashion brand. It's not just about producing clothes. How do you want to make people know that it's my clothes that you should buy? So in that aspect, you need to invest in the marketing and business part of your startup, how to get your product out there, how to meet the right people, and you should not be underpriced and you should not be overpriced. Only you know what you're offering as a brand. So you do your market analysis and have a price that your customers can pay for the product you are offering.
Okay, so now Muhammad, tell us, for students aspiring to start their own fashion brand, what key advice would you give them on branding identity?
My advice will be just similar to what I said earlier, but I would say it's, you should understand who you are and what your brand stands for. Yeah, start early, start small, leverage on your strengths, have a solid foundation and understanding of what you want to do. Don't just dabble into things. Don't do what you don't know. Do what you know, or start from what you know. You can't actually know it all. So you learn from others, you make connections, have collaborations, and be willing to adapt. Fashion is very competitive, so you need to have a very unique approach to stand out in a very saturated market. So I feel like if you you do all these things, you are presenting yourself in your own unique way to stand apart from other brands.
Interesting. Muhammad, it has really been an amazing time with you. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast. But then before you go, I have just one question for you. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Alright, so Muhammad, if you could collaborate with a fashion brand, who would it be and why?
I wouldn't say collaborate for the person I want to mention.
Okay.
I feel like it would be more of me being under his mentorship because he's somebody I admire a lot.
Okay.
In the Nigerian fashion industry, and he's done a lot. If I would say he's the pioneer of the new generation of fashion designers in Nigeria now, and that would be Tashi Adekunle, the creative director of OG. So yeah, I feel like it is more of him mentoring me than me collaboration.
Wow, you really love to be his mentee rather than collaborate with him.
Learn more and obviously broaden my insights and improve on what I have.
Interesting. Who knows? You may end up being his mentee someday. Alright, Muhammad, like I said, it has really been an amazing time with you. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast. Alright, hustlers, that's all we have for you today. I hope this episode ignites your entrepreneurial fire. I hope you really learned a whole lot from Muhammad. Rate and review this podcast using the hashtag Campus Hustlers on all social media platforms. And if you're yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button now. Until next week, stay hungry, stay focused, and keep hustling. Bye-bye.
Campus Hustlers with Fatima, Zakariyya.